on me.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Not Daily at the Shannon series featuring moi, Shannon, and we're going to talk about my experience attending a PWI. Now, everybody know I graduated from the Lamorne College because I'm always going to make it known doing my introduction. But anywho, let's get down to it. Now, y'all know I went to Oklahoma first, then I went to Delta State, dropped out. Then I took a year or two, now I took 3 years off. Then I went back and I went to Holmes. Then I ended up going to Oklahoma and I went to Lamorne and graduated with my bachelor's. All right. So now that y'all know that, a little short backstory. Okay. So I know I talked a little bit in my intro video about how and why I went to Delta State, but I'm going to just do a little brief run back. Okay. The reason I chose Delta State, I had UAPB on my list, but the out-of-state fees were ridiculous, and I knew I couldn't afford it. I knew my parents were not in a position to pay it out of pocket. So there was no point in me even asking them that. So I was going down the line. I was deciding on like Jackson State, Alcorn, Valley, and a lot of other options. Okay. Now, I ain't pick Alcorn because, baby, I ain't had no car. And I ain't finna be in the woods with no car. Then I ain't pick Jackson State because I didn't want to be in Jackson with no car. Both of these schools are like 3 hours away, so that didn't make sense to me. I'm like, Delta State makes more logical sense. So if I need something, my family right there. Okay, obviously. Okay, now let's get down to my experience. Now, my first semester at Delta State, I can't complain. It was like a real culture shock, but it wasn't like scary then because I thrive in any environment I'm in, whether it's a mixed environment or it's an all-black environment. I'm cool either way because I'm gonna always be me no matter what. Okay, so let's get down to the summer session. This is where my experience went, a little bit awry, and I started to see black people in different ways. You know how you hear that term, all skin folk and kinfolk? Baby, I learned that lesson very early in Delta State. Okay, now for the most part, all my teachers were cool, so I give all my teachers like, I say 7.5 out of 10. I never rate anything 10 out of 10. Now, how you gonna get an 8? So I say 7.5, just because of that one teacher. Now, I'm gonna say this. I took public speaking in the spring of 2016, but I dropped it because I wasn't used to the workload that Delta had. But the work went harder, just I wasn't accustomed to the workload, so I dropped it. I said, well, I can take it in the summer. Okay, cool. So at this point, this is when I took the class. And I ain't gonna lie, everybody did say, don't take that class, that lady racist. Now, you know how black folks are. Sometimes we be just quick to throw the R word around. And you know me, I like to see things for myself because everybody's experience is gonna be different. Baby, let me tell you something. I should have listened to them. Because I probably could have avoided that. But, hey, let's see, don't justify what she said. So let's get down to it. Okay, so mind you, it's probably like 10 people in the class. 7 other people in the class are black. Did you hear me? 7 people in the class are black. Okay, now you know you're racist when white people say you're racist. White people will hold up for each other no matter what. They do not give a damn. Man, so we're doing a speech. Okay, so now mind you, they probably want, I would think that they not accustomed to girls wearing bust downs, baby. Them girls wearing bust downs. So I'm like, y'all should be accustomed to my bust down, because baby, I was swinging that hair around. All right. So she took me in my hair, my face was stretching out of shit. So I peeped that little microaggression, but I ain't say shit. So I went home crying to my dad and my auntie because I was just so upset because I was just like, why would you say something like that? So they telling me just ignore her, ignore the ignorance out of it. Okay, I'm trying my best. Baby, let me tell you. Tell me why. The second time I went to do the speech, she pointed that shit out again. So I'm like, okay, at this point, she's just really trying to fuck with me. And I don't get why, because I'm so nice to people. They're nice to me. Y'all, she would just say the little slick and stuff, and I could tell no black person ever called her out on it, baby. She was shocked when I said what I said. So I was in the class 9. I'm just like, you know what, if you too much ignorant, then you don't have to hear it. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, bro, you ain't got nothing like 2 months semester, knock this crap out. Let that lady do her, just be dumb alone. No. This lady got her ass up in all her whiteness and said, and I quote, I feel like Clint Eastwood with the monkeys. So I started looking around, because girl, who was you talking to? And I'm looking around like, black people, you ain't gonna say shit. My mouth was like, why would you say that? So I said, bitch, you was a monkey. And she looked at me and I looked at her, but we just had to look off. Baby. So I'm looking at the black people like, black people, does this not offend you? Baby, I was so mad. From that point on, and that's everything with me became political. It was never that I didn't believe in racism. I'm just a person where, I didn't expect it to happen, because I was just unprepared for it. Now, I would say that's the first time, but no. Before that happened, our president at the time, I don't even know if he worked no more, which I don't think he do. And he said he wasn't gonna take the Confederate flag down. Baby, me being a black student at default school, I don't care. You let me up in this thing, so I'm gonna speak my mind. So I said that man email telling him how I felt that was unfair, and I felt like y'all said y'all big on diversity, but you don't really care about your black students like the claim. Baby, this thing I know that flag got took down. Baby, one thing about it, I'm gonna ride for us, even if we don't want to ride for us. I don't play that. I have a very strong sense of self, baby. There's never gonna be anyone that's gonna ever make me feel bad about it being a strong black woman. So, this is the part that made me mad at the whole thing. Because it was already bad enough that white lady said that bullshit. Tell me why. So when she left the room, I looked around and said, black people, are you not upset? This is not a picture. And this girl, now, I'm not trying to make this a colorism thing, but bitch, you are darker than me. You should be double offended. So, I got enough offense for the whole class. So this girl said, I want to say something, I want to report it, but I got to graduate next in fall. Baby, that broke my heart so bad because I was just like, baby, if we don't stand for something, we're going to fall for anything. So at that point, I was like, damn, maybe I should have just went out and spent the extra time at an HBCU. You know, and I know I'm going to tell me that I'm finished college. I just would have went on and did 3 years because Valley was telling me I had to be a first year sophomore. And I was just like, no. And then Jack State, they could, like, Cahoma's curriculum, Cahoma's an HBCU for context. So you would think that curriculum would tailor more to HBCUs. It did not. They tailored to the PWIs, and that's what the issue was. They should have had it to where it can tailor to both, so no matter where you go, you'll be fine. So that's really why I went to the PWI. Looking back at all, like, man, I should have went on and did that extra year because, baby, at this point, it was not even worth all the hassle. But I will say this, I met some great people there. So I would say the people that I was at school with there, they made the experience worth it. Like everything worth it. But baby, that one experience that took my draws with black folks was real bad. Like I was over. Now, let me tell you something else that was out of pocket for me. You know, black people, we just be so easily fascinated with stuff. And I don't understand why. Maybe because I went to school, maybe because I went to that state at the time that, you know, they were getting progressive. Like, that state was already pretty black, you know, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like Southern Miss black. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that I was just surprised. Okay, so, hear me out. Okay, now everybody know, every PWI gonna have a safe space for black students or Latinos or other people, you know what I'm trying to say, other people of color. Okay, y'all. So, now, at our school, it was called the African American Student Council. Now, at other schools, it might be called the Black Student Union. Okay. Same thing, same difference. Ain't no difference. Okay. So, I'm looking, so my roommate at the time, she was like, come join the African American Student Council. You know, she said, I think you're really play with those people. I'm like, so I was like, talking to her, like, you know, give me a sign. Because I didn't want to get involved on campus because I'm not used to being on campus and not doing things but just going to class. You know, when I was at Kahoma, I was in the band. You know. So I'm like, even if I just got in the club, that would be fine. Okay, so I think I got a little perplexed when I looked online that night. Ironically, right before I was going to say, yeah, I give it a chance, I saw this white girl was president of the African American Student Council. Yeah, you heard me right. That white girl was the president of the African American Student Council. Let me start by saying this. She's a nice girl. She's cool as fuck. But I still think that was out of order. I don't care what nobody say. That's my safe space for you white people. So, I was just like, what is happening? Now, this is the part that blew my mind. They said, oh, it's okay. She doesn't like white people either. Sometimes, I think people just intentionally miss the plot. It's not about her not liking white people. I don't hate white people. I don't love all black people. I don't hate all white people. Because it's bad in each race. But what I'm saying is, that's out of order. That's like me, a black woman being over the Chinese student council, the Latinx student council, and I'm not Latinx. That don't make sense. That's very much out of order. And it's like the black people at the PWI, they tend to forget that they're black. And that's the part that upsets me. That's why I be like, pushing HBCUs. So like, I've never been anti-HBCU. I would just always say, hey, go where the money is going to take you. And I'm always going to say that. But don't get your ass up in these folks' school talking about some, oh, I got more opportunities because this. No, you don't. Baby, all schools are equal opportunity for the most part, except with funding. HBCUs are severely underfunded, which brings me to my next point. Just because this stuff is going on with Howard University, it's not your opportunity to talk down on, oh, this is why they go to HBCU. Okay, if they didn't give you enough money, that's fine. But at the end of the day, don't trash the institution that was built for you to achieve higher education before you could go to a Delta State or you could go to a Colorado State. Like, I think y'all be missing, y'all be getting twisted, and I don't like that at all. Then the part that gets me is like, I don't know who over Howard Financial Aid. I'm not going to even speak on that because that's not my institution. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But I think I need to clean house and start all over again because Howard gets entirely too much money for these kids to be having the living conditions they have. Y'all were sending scholarship, like doing all the stuff y'all doing. But when I said, oh, y'all should consider small schools like Mississippi Valley State University, oh, Lamorne College, Stillman College, things like that, y'all was like, I'm not going there. That school ain't popping. You are here to get an education. Now, I do think the school should be a little fun because they're going to have you fixed. I get that. But that can't be your only reason for going to college because this is costly, baby. This is very much costly. And I think that sometimes people just go to school for this. Instead of like, Southern University has become one of my favorite HBCUs. But you know I'm impartial to that because I graduated from D. Lamorne College. So Lamorne's always going to be number one and Southern going to be number 2. But I love FAMU. I love NK. I love all those institutions. But that doesn't make me love any other HBCU less. I just love the vibe that goes on in Southern. But I know a lot of crazy stuff happens there in Southern as well as in our school. And I hate that when stuff happens at HBCU, I'll be like, oh, this is why I didn't go. Baby, let me tell you something. What is happening to you can happen in any other school. Like one girl was like, I was SA. Baby, look. And I wasn't trying to take away from her experience because that's a sad situation. But I was letting her know that it can happen anywhere. Stop thinking that these Caucasians are going to protect your ass because you go to school. No, they're going to cover it up even more. Trust me. Like, we know black people to cover things up. Cause that's expected of black people. Black folks are going to protect the integrity of their schools. And that does not make it right. But thinking that you're going to go to PWI because you think they're going to protect you is asinine. They don't give a fuck about your ass either. You definitely a number over there. At least at small institutions, people know you by name. Like, it's, I really don't get it. And I feel like our people have been brainwashed to think that proximity to whiteness is just so awesome. Let me tell you something about white people. They are mediocre, and they know it. And then before you say they're not mediocre, yes they are. You want to know how I know? Can they keep jacking that shit? So anyway, that's all for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all next week.